Divine revelation is never random, nor is it meant for everyone. It comes when the soul has been refined through pain, silence, and surrender. For the chosen ones, this stage of revelation signifies that they have endured enough trials to finally comprehend the magnitude of what God is entrusting them with. Divine readiness is not about perfection, it's about purification. When you have walked through darkness and still kept your faith intact, when you have been misunderstood, isolated, and stripped of everything comfortable, that's when God knows you can handle the weight of truth. Many desire to hear from God, but few are truly ready for what He has to say. Truth has a cost. It breaks illusions, shatters comfort zones, and exposes what once gave you false security. It will require you to release everything that doesn't align with the divine path, and that includes people, patterns, and versions of yourself that no longer fit the calling you carry. Divine revelation is not given to satisfy curiosity, it is given to fulfill purpose. Every time God reveals something, it comes with a divine assignment attached to it. He doesn't just show you the truth so you can know, He shows it so you can become. Your life is the vessel through which divine mysteries are manifested into reality. The readiness God looks for is not in your appearance, status, or achievements, it's in your heart's posture. When your heart is humble, obedient, and teachable, He begins to speak in layers. Sometimes He speaks through silence, sometimes through signs, sometimes through the sudden clarity that pierces your confusion like lightning. Those moments are not coincidences, they are divine confirmations that your frequency is aligned with His revelation. For the chosen ones, divine readiness is forged in seasons of hiddenness. When God pulls you away from the noise of the world, it's not rejection, it's preparation. He separates you so He can speak to you clearly. The isolation becomes sacred training ground where your discernment sharpens and your spiritual senses awaken. During those moments, you start noticing things others overlook. You sense energy shifts, spiritual warfare, and divine patterns. You begin to perceive how God moves, how He tests, and how He reveals. These perceptions are not the result of human intellect but divine impartation. God only entrusts revelation to those who have been proven in silence. Being ready for revelation also means being ready to lose comfort. The truth God reveals often disrupts your current reality. It challenges your attachments and forces you to let go of things that once made sense. When the divine truth arrives, it doesn't knock, it enters with authority. It breaks your ego, exposes your fears, and demands transformation. The revelation might show you that people you trusted were never meant to go with you, that environments you once thrived in are now toxic to your destiny, or that dreams you once pursued were merely distractions from your true purpose. Each truth comes like a sword, cutting away what's false so that what's real can finally live. That's why divine readiness is painful. It's not just about hearing from God, it's about being willing to obey what you hear. God doesn't reveal deep truths to the easily shaken. He reveals them to those who have been tested in fire and still choose faith. Every battle you faced, every heartbreak, every delay, it was refining you for this moment. Your tears were not wasted, they were washing your soul so you could receive divine sight. You had to learn how to hear God's voice above the chaos of the world. You had to learn discernment, patience, and trust, even when nothing made sense. That's why the revelation coming now feels intense. It's the harvest of all the spiritual training you've endured. You're not the same person who once begged for answers. Now, your spirit is stable enough to carry divine responsibility. When God prepares you for revelation, He also tests your motives. He checks if you want revelation for validation or transformation. Many want spiritual insight to feel powerful, but the chosen ones seek it to serve the divine plan. God will never reveal what could destroy your humility. He measures your capacity to handle truth without pride, fear, or misuse. Sometimes that's why He delays revelation, not because you're unworthy, but because He's still strengthening your vessel. When the revelation arrives, it won't just expand your understanding, it will expand your mission. You'll realize that knowing divine truth means carrying divine accountability. Divine readiness means you are willing to let truth reorder your reality. It's when you stop resisting change and start embracing the unknown, trusting that God's plan is always greater than your understanding. It's when you can sit in uncertainty and still have peace because your faith is anchored in something higher than outcomes. The more you surrender, the clearer His revelations become. And as your awareness grows, you begin to see how everything was connected: the pain, the timing, the delays, the losses, all of it was preparation for revelation. God never wastes anything. He uses every experience to cleanse your perception so you can see through His eyes. Divine revelation requires divine readiness because truth is power, and power in the wrong hands becomes destruction. God waits until your character can sustain your calling. Once that balance is achieved, the flow of divine truth begins effortlessly. The signs increase, the synchronicities align, and your intuition strengthens. You no longer chase answers, answers begin to find you. Every whisper from the Spirit feels like a code being unlocked, every moment like a divine instruction leading you closer to destiny. God is not just giving you information, He's giving you transformation through revelation. The truth that God is risking to reveal to you is not meant to be gentle, it's meant to awaken. It carries the power to separate you from everything false and align you with your higher divine purpose. When God decides to show you something others cannot see, it means He's calling you into a new dimension of awareness where illusions can no longer survive. The chosen ones are often surrounded by layers of deception, social conditioning, emotional attachments, generational patterns, and spiritual distractions. But divine truth pierces through all of it. It's like a sword that divides light from darkness, authenticity from pretense, purpose from confusion. This truth will not fit into the comfort of your old identity. It will demand that you evolve, that you rise above old ways of seeing, thinking, and reacting. You will begin to see through everything that once blinded you. When divine truth enters your life, it doesn't come with soft whispers, it comes with spiritual earthquakes. It shakes the foundation of who you thought you were and exposes what has been keeping you spiritually stagnant. The illusions that once gave you peace will start to crumble. You might find that relationships begin to shift, environments become unbearable, and your spirit becomes restless around energy that no longer resonates with your higher calling. That's because truth carries vibration, and only what's aligned with it can remain. God uses revelation to cleanse your atmosphere. He removes what's false so that what's real can finally breathe. The more truth you receive, the clearer you become. Confusion dissolves, distractions lose their power, and your spiritual authority strengthens. You stop seeking validation and start walking in divine conviction. The reason God risks revealing this truth is because He knows how dangerous illusions can be. They keep the chosen ones small, afraid, and unaware of their divine power. Illusions come in many forms: false promises, distorted beliefs, emotional manipulation, even spiritual deception disguised as light. They are designed to keep you questioning your worth and doubting your calling. But when truth arrives, it exposes all the hidden motives and masks. You begin to see people not for what they say, but for the energy they carry. You sense hidden intentions, and your intuition becomes your greatest weapon. What once fooled you now appears transparent. That clarity is both a blessing and a burden, because once you see truth, you can never unsee it. God knows that, which is why He waits until you're spiritually mature before revealing certain things. Divine truth also dismantles the illusions you hold about yourself. You begin to realize that much of your old identity was shaped by survival, by what others needed you to be, not by who God created you to be. Truth strips away those layers until only your authentic self remains. It confronts your fears, your insecurities, and the stories you've told yourself to stay safe. God doesn't expose these parts to shame you, but to free you. He wants you to see the difference between who you became in pain and who you are in purpose. The more you embrace this internal truth, the more you align with your higher self, the version of you that operates in divine authority, peace, and power. This is the self that no longer seeks approval from man but moves by divine instruction. Every revelation carries a spiritual activation. As truth reveals itself, new codes within your spirit begin to awaken. You start remembering your mission on a soul level. Your sensitivity to divine energy heightens, your dreams become more vivid, and your discernment becomes sharp. God begins to reveal deeper secrets of your path, people's roles in your journey, and the purpose behind every delay you faced. You start recognizing divine timing in everything. Nothing feels accidental anymore. Even the pain begins to make sense because truth organizes chaos into divine order. You understand that every betrayal, every rejection, every detour was part of your alignment process. It was designed to remove illusions that were blocking your elevation. The revelation God is risking to give you will not make sense to everyone around you. Many will misunderstand you, call you strange, or distance themselves because they can't perceive what you now see. That's part of the separation process. When you carry divine truth, you become a mirror that reflects people's inner darkness. Some will feel convicted just by being near you. Others will be drawn to your light because their spirit recognizes something divine within you. You will start attracting souls who are also awakening, those meant to walk beside you in this new season of purpose. The truth acts like a magnet, pulling what belongs to you and repelling what doesn't. This is divine alignment in action. As you embody this new level of awareness, your purpose begins to shift from self to service. God doesn't reveal truth for isolation, He reveals it so you can become a vessel of clarity for others. The same light that broke your illusions will shine through you to awaken others trapped in theirs. Your story becomes a testimony of divine unveiling, proof that truth is stronger than deception. You'll find yourself speaking differently, thinking differently, creating differently. Everything you do will begin to carry divine energy because it's rooted in authenticity. The illusions of fear, lack, and limitation lose their grip, and you start walking in divine confidence. But this level of truth also comes with spiritual warfare. Darkness doesn't surrender easily. When God exposes what's hidden, resistance intensifies. You may feel pressure, confusion, or sudden opposition, but it's a sign that you're stepping into higher spiritual territory. The enemy wants to cloud your vision again, to pull you back into illusion. That's why discernment becomes essential. You must protect your mind, your peace, and your energy. Stay grounded in prayer, keep your focus on the divine voice, and don't allow outside noise to distract you. The truth that has been revealed to you is sacred. It's not for debate, it's for transformation. When you align with divine truth, you begin to operate with precision. You move by revelation, not emotion. You trust God's timing, even when the process feels uncertain. You no longer chase what's fading, you attract what's destined. Every step, every choice, every silence becomes intentional. The truth becomes your compass, guiding you toward your higher divine purpose where everything falls away and only what's real remains. This insider update marks a spiritual turning point where your faith, obedience, and discernment will determine your next elevation. You've been walking through a season where the unseen realm feels louder than the physical world, where every experience seems like a test of patience, and every silence from God feels heavier than before. What you don't realize is that this has all been divine preparation. The universe has been recalibrating around your purpose, moving pieces behind the scenes, and adjusting timelines that connect directly to your destiny. When God begins to release insider updates to His chosen ones, it's not casual, it's strategic. He's calling you to operate on a higher spiritual frequency, one that demands a deeper level of trust, sharper discernment, and unwavering obedience. What's coming next in your journey won't be revealed through logic or comfort, it will be unveiled through faith and divine alignment. This is the stage where your spiritual maturity will be tested. God has been preparing you to hear Him beyond surface-level communication. You may have noticed how your sensitivity to energy, emotions, and divine timing has intensified lately. That's because your spiritual antenna has been upgraded. You're no longer meant to depend solely on external validation or human understanding. The instructions coming to you now will often go against the expectations of others. You'll feel pulled in directions that make no sense to the logical mind but are perfectly aligned with divine order. Obedience in this phase will not always feel easy, but it will open doors that human effort never could. Every choice you make in this season carries spiritual weight, for it determines how high you'll rise and how far you'll go in fulfilling your divine purpose. Faith, in this moment, is not about merely believing, it's about knowing. It's the quiet confidence that even when you can't see the outcome has already been written in your favor. The chosen ones are now being positioned for divine assignments that require total surrender. You might be asked to walk away from situations, environments, or people that you once depended on. You might feel called to take bold steps that stretch your comfort zone. Every divine risk you take now is a statement of faith, and each act of obedience becomes a key unlocking your next elevation. You are being refined to carry spiritual authority, and that authority can only be accessed by those who have proven their trust in the divine plan even when the path is unclear. Discernment will also be critical in this season. As new levels open, new distractions and deceptions will appear. Not every voice that sounds spiritual is divine, and not every opportunity that looks golden is meant for you. God is teaching you to discern energy, intent, and spiritual authenticity. You will begin to feel a deep knowing within your spirit whenever something aligns or misaligns with your destiny. This isn't paranoia, it's spiritual intelligence. The more you obey divine nudges, the sharper your discernment will become. You'll notice how effortlessly your intuition begins to guide your steps, how the right people appear at the perfect moment, and how divine timing orchestrates every move. This is the power of walking in sync with God's insider updates. This turning point is also about responsibility. The revelations you receive now are not just for you, they are meant to serve a greater purpose. God doesn't give insight without assignment. Once you understand the patterns, once you decode the signs, you become a carrier of light for others still trapped in confusion. You'll be placed in situations where your wisdom, calmness, and faith will shift atmospheres. Some will seek your energy without knowing why, others will resist it because your presence exposes what's hidden. But no matter how people respond, your role remains sacred. You are meant to be a vessel of truth, a bridge between divine instruction and human experience. This insider update also comes with a deeper awareness of spiritual warfare. As you rise, resistance will rise too. The enemy will attempt to attack your mind, distort your focus, or plant seeds of doubt. But remember, every attack is confirmation of your significance. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the stronger the distractions become. Your faith will need to be your fortress, your obedience your weapon, and your discernment your shield. Stand firm in the knowing that what God is birthing through you is too powerful to be stopped. He has already equipped you with the spiritual armor needed to overcome whatever challenges lie ahead. Elevation is never comfortable. It's not supposed to be. When God elevates you, He stretches you. He removes your dependence on what's temporary so you can rely solely on what's eternal. You may lose some things in this process, connections, opportunities, or parts of your old self, but what's being prepared in exchange is far greater. Your purpose is expanding, your influence is deepening, and your spiritual authority is growing stronger. The divine updates you're receiving are training your soul for leadership in the unseen. Every act of faith builds spiritual muscle, every act of obedience sharpens your divine precision, and every moment of discernment aligns you more deeply with the ultimate plan. Right now, you're standing at the intersection of revelation and manifestation. What you've been sensing in your spirit is about to materialize in your reality. The signals, synchronicities, and inner guidance you've been receiving are all divine confirmations that you are aligned with God's unfolding plan. Trust the process even when it's uncertain, for what's being built through you is something eternal. You are stepping into a season where your words carry power, your presence carries light, and your energy carries divine authority. The chosen ones are not being informed, they're being activated. This is your moment to rise beyond fear, beyond confusion, beyond limitation. God is trusting you with truth because you've proven your loyalty through every trial. You are no longer just walking by faith, you are walking as faith. This insider update is the signal that your old season has ended and a new divine chapter has begun. Remain steadfast, stay spiritually alert, and keep your heart open to receive. The next elevation is already unfolding, and everything you've endured has prepared you perfectly for what comes next.